Okay, the other thing we want to look at is converting or migrating a table to a memory optimized table. Now, memory optimized tables are stored entirely in memory. So the idea is we load all of the contents in memory and then we just work with it in memory. It's much, much faster. It does put a load on our memory, especially if these are larger tables. There are also some requirements for memory optimized tables. Not everything can exist inside a memory optimized table. There are some limitations on what you can and cannot do with memory optimized tables. So make sure you, if you do this and you go to migrate something, make sure you know what your limitations are. We're actually going to see a few of them here in a minute. Now, I want to tell you one other thing. I'm not actually going to convert a table to a memory optimized table. I'm going to walk you through the wizard and we're going to get right up to the point of doing it and then we're going to pull back. The reason is my testbed system here is not set up to handle memory optimized tables. But I want to walk you through the process so you can see how we need to do it anyway. I might actually go ahead and hit the button on one of them so you can see what would happen. But let's start with this. I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose my product table here and I'm going to go to the Memory Optimization Advisor. And it will open up and I will click next and it will scan the table to see if we can convert it. And you're going to see I have two things here. I have a warning and a warning and an error. So unsupported data types not defined in this table. If I click this, it will actually take me out to a website and I'll say these are the data types that are supported for memory optimized tables. These are not. You'll also notice here I've got a foreign key relationship. This is a warning, not an error. It does tell me to migrate this table, first remove the foreign key, then migrate the tables, and then add the foreign key references back in. Again, links show me how. We'll take you out to more information. I can also generate a report. If I want to generate that report, save it, share it with somebody else. Now I'm going to have several tables here. In fact, pretty much all of my sales LT tables are not going to be available for migration. This one right here, I have a foreign key. That's about all. That's pretty good. Again, I'd have to remove the foreign key constraints, migrate the tables to memory optimized tables, and then put them back. Now, there are a couple of them that will pass the initial check on the tables. And that's going to be my build version and my error log. Let's take our error log. And I'm going to start by doing select top 1,000 rows. There's actually no errors in here right now, but you'll see we have an error log ID, time, username, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if I want to migrate that, I would right click and go to the Memory Optimization Advisor, click Next, and this is going to pass perfectly. It's going to say, okay, this table is ready to go. Notice it's not the database that's ready. We're going to run into that later, but this table is ready to go. So I'm going to click Next, and here are a few things to be aware of. Views, procedures, functions, triggers, check constraints, they might have to be changed. Here are a bunch of things we cannot do on memory optimized tables. Truncate table and merge statements cannot target a memory optimized table. And so all of these, you're going to see more information. None of this is stopping you from doing it. It's just saying, hey, if you do that, these are the things you need to be aware of. So if you're going to migrate something to a memory optimized table, make sure you check all of those out and make sure you're not doing something or wanting to do something on the table that you're not going to be able to do once you get it to be a memory optimized table. Click Next. Okay. We are creating a memory optimized file group, a logical file name, a file path. Okay, right here, we can choose to also copy table data to the new memory optimized table. So grab it all, grab what's already in there, and move it over. Here's the other thing with memory optimized tables though. By default, we'll read this right here. By default, this table will be migrated to a memory optimized table with both schema and data durability. Okay, what we mean by that. This table is going to be entirely in memory. Memory is not durable. If power goes out, we lose all of that data. So what it does is it will save from the memory optimized table down to the hard drive. Now it's still loaded in memory, but it will save information down to the hard drive to provide durability. In other words, system gets shut down, power goes out, SQL Server comes back up, loads the memory optimized table, and it loads everything back. Now, you can do this in one of two ways. You can do schema only, which basically means the layout of the table. So all of the table rows or columns, all of the definitions, that's all going to be durable, but the data will not be. The data goes away every time the system shuts down. Now, that may be okay with you, right? But if you want to save the data as well, then you needed to provide both data and schema durability. Now, memory optimized tables eat a ton of memory. If you don't need this information permanently, then losing all of that data and just keeping the schema is going to help mitigate how much memory this memory optimized table is used. But if you're saving the data all the time, that has to be reloaded into memory, and as that table grows, we're using up more and more and more memory. All right, so that's what this is about. By default, it will back up both this, backup's the wrong word, but it'll work, schema and data. If you click this, then you'll migrate the table with no data durability. In other words, we don't save the data down to the disk. We'll save the schema, not the data. So this is my error log file. I might not want to do that. On the other hand, I might be okay with wiping out my error log and let me just keep it running while my system's up and running. But once it reboots, then I'm okay with wiping that out and starting over. Hypothetically, somebody might be okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and leave that unchecked. And I'm going to click next. Okay. And then we're going to choose the appropriate conversion for this primary key. So this is my primary key. That's what I want to use. Is not using anything else here. Some of them will give you, some tables will give you multiple things you can use as your primary key. You can do a non-clustered hash index or a non-clustered index, as those are defined here a little bit. I'm going to do a non-clustered index using the error log ID, and I want to sort in either ascending or descending order. So I'm going to sort in ascending order and click next. Okay, that's everything that I need to do in order for this to function. I can view my script, or I can click on migrate right now. Now, like I said, I don't have my SQL server set up for this. I'm going to go ahead and click the button though so we can generate the error. It's going to start to run. And it actually did take it. It did not generate the error. When I've tried to do this before, I've gotten a couple of different errors. This one I'm actually surprised. It seems like it worked okay. Let's click OK. Yep, there we go. Well, I just proved myself wrong. Depending on your environment, so I've ran into errors before. There's some things you cannot do with having open records and locking records. And if you have a record lock, that will cause it to fail. When I tried to do it on this one before, it generated an error because I did not have replication enabled. So this time it went ahead and took it. So we're just going to roll with it, and we're going to say, yay, we created a memory optimized table. If you get errors like that, just be aware it may not be run through the wizard, get the error, figure out what you need to fix, go back, resolve that problem. I do want you to see right here, I've got the error log -old, and here's my DBO error log. This was my original one. This is my memory optimized table. So there we go. We are up now with a memory optimized table on our SQL server.